Scout? That you? You out there?
I'm watching for Atticus.
Come in and watch before your father gets home.
In a minute, Calpurnia. Always orders me around.
You hear me, Scott?
I have to talk to Atticus. Hey, Miss Marty.
Scout!
I'm talking to Miss Marty.
Do you smell my mimosa? It's like angel's breath.
Yes,
Oh, and you do hear the birds, right? You hear the mockingbird?
yes. When Atticus gave Jem and me air rifles, he asked us to never shoot mockingbirds.
And he's right. Mockingbirds just make music. They don't eat up people's gardens. They don't nest in corn cribs. Why, they don't do one thing but sing their hearts out. That's why it's a sin to kill a mockingbird.
Miss Marty, this is an old neighborhood, ain't it?
Been here longer than the town.
No, I mean the folks on our street are old. Jem and me's the only children. Miss DeBose is close on 100, and Miss Stephanie's old. So are you. And Atticus, he's ancient.
Ain't being wheeled around yet, and neither is your father.
He's nearly 50. Jem asked him why he was so old, and he said he got started late.
You're lucky. You and Jim have the benefit of your father's age. Why, if Atticus was 30, you'd find life quite different.
I sure would. Atticus can't do anything.
What do you want him to do?
Drive a dump truck for the county, run for sheriff, farmer, work in a garage, or something else worth mentioning. Other fathers go hunting, play poker, and they fish.
Seems to me you'd be proud of him.
Why? He works in a law office, and he reads.
Hey, Scout!
The way some folks are starting to go on, you'd think he was running a still.
Scout, how come your daddy defends Negroes?
I know it's you, Walter Cunningham. Keep this up and I'll give you another whipping.
Scout's daddy defends Negroes.
You gonna take that back, boy?
You gonna make me? My folks say that Negroes ought to hang from the water tower.
I'll never speak to you again as long as I live. I hate you and despise you and hope you die tomorrow.
Everybody says your daddy's a disgrace.
Come back, you coward!
Everyone.
Coward!
Scout, I told you to come in and wash before your father gets home.
And I told you, in a minute.
Why can't you behave like your brother Jim? He's already watched.
Because he's older than me, and you know it. Ow! The water's too hot.
Well, keep scrubbing anyway.
In 1935, Macomb, Alabama is already an old town, a tired old town. In rainy weather, the streets turn to red slop. Grass grows on the sidewalk. Courthouse sags in the square. Old mules hitched to Hoover carts flick flies in the shade. There's no hurry. There's nowhere to go. Nothing to buy, no money to buy it with. Macomb County has recently been told it has nothing to fear but fear itself.
Lack of money is no excuse for the Radleys to let their place go like this. The least they could do is mow the Johnsons' grass and rabbit tobacco. But of course, they're Radleys.
Miss Stephanie says everybody in Macomb has a streak. A drinking streak, a gambling streak, a mean streak, a funny streak.
Afternoon, ladies.
Judge Taylor, Sheriff.
Atticus, you home?
Judge Taylor? Mr. Tate?
Is Atticus home?
Not yet.
All right, well, tell him we were passing by.
Would you like for him to call you?
We'll be seeing him anyway.
Okay, then.
Afternoon. Have good day.
He's still alive.
His name is Arthur. And yes, he's still alive.
How do you know?
What a morbid question. I know, 'cause I haven't seen him been carried out yet.
Jem says maybe he died and they stuffed him up in the chimney.
He just stays in the house, that's all. Wouldn't you stay in the house if you didn't want to come out?
But I want to come out.
When that boy was in his teens, he took off with some bad ones from old Sarum, probably drinking stump old whiskey. He was arrested on charges of disturbing the peace, disorderly conduct, and using abusive personal. He was released into the custody of his father, who brought him home and locked him up in that house for the next 15 years.
Oh, now she's going to tell you what happened 15 years after.
Boo Radley was sitting on the couch in the family's living room. He was flipping through pages in the Macomb County Tribune magazine, cutting pictures for a scrapbook. His father passed by, probably on his way to the kitchen. And when his daddy passed by, Boo took those scissors that he was using for a scrapbook and he drove them right into his father's leg. He pulled him out, wiped him off on his breeches, and resumed his activities. Boo was then 33. But his father said, no Radley's going to any insane asylum. So he brought him back home and kept him back in that house where he is to this very day. Or Miss Maudie would have seen him carried out.
All my life, I've never seen him.
Well, I saw him. It was dark and stormy. And in the middle of the night, I heard a rattle at my window. When I sat up, I saw a face staring at me like a skull. Just staring at me in my bed. It was Boo Radley.
What'd you do?
Oh, she scared him away.
How?
She moved over in the bed to make room for him.
You have a streak, Miss Maudie. A streak I cannot properly describe in front of a young lady.
She's right. Oh, afternoon, Mrs. Dubose. You must smell my mimosa. Angel's breath.
Hey, Scout!
Well, Alabama must be playing in the Rose Bowl with Jim Finch scoring a touchdown.
Where are you going this time of day, Jeremy Finch? Playing hooky, I suppose. I'll just call up the principal and tell him.
It's Saturday, Mr. Bose.
I wonder, does your father know where you are?
Of course he does.
Miss Maudie told me you broke down her scuppernong arbor this morning. She's going to tell your father you'll wish you'd never seen the light of day.
I've never touched her scuppernong.
Don't you contradict me. If you aren't sent to reform school by the end of next week, my name is not Dubose.
Why is she so mean?
Reverend Sykes, please, you must confine your visits to the colored church.
Mr. Bowes, we're here to see our special parishioners.
Miss Cow.
Miss Cow? Miss Cow.
Well, Reverend Sykes and Mrs. Sykes.
Yo, Miss Cow, it's about our brother Tom Robinson.
Yes, sir.
We have to do more to help his wife and children.
Yes.
These are the dark days, days of trials and tribulations.
Yes, sir.
So the collection for the next 3 Sundays will go to his wife.
Yes, Reverend.
And I want you to encourage everyone to give as much as they can to help out.
Yes, Reverend.
So,
Why are you taking the collection for Tom Robinson's wife?
well, to tell the truth, Helen's having it and is finding it very hard to find work these days.
I know Tom Robinson's done something awful, but why won't folks hire Helen?
Folks are anxious.
I told you, stay out of town now, you hear?
I hear.
Bob Yule and his daughter, Mayella, in good times or bad, they live off the county in a cabin near the garbage dump next to a small Negro settlement. All Bob Yule can hold on to that makes him feel better than that nearest neighbor is if scrubbed in lye soap with very hot water, his skin is white.
Why'd you stop talking? Those are just Yules.
I'm not surprised they stopped talking.
We have a lot of calls to make. Goodbye, Miss Jean Louise.
Call me Scout.
Miss Cow, we'll
Okay.
see you next Sunday.
Okay, we'll bring all we can.
Bye. What did Tom Robinson do?
You mean what did they say he did? Well, old Bob Ewell said that Robinson raped his girl and he had him arrested and put in jail.
But everyone in Maycomb knows the kind of folks the Yules are.
What's that singing?
Jim, what's rape?
Better ask Cal.
Well, I think you better ask your father. Dinner'll be ready soon.
Hey! Hey yourself! I'm Charles Baker Harris. I can read.
So what?
Just thought you'd like to know. Folks call me Dill. I'm staying with my Aunt Rachel.
You're sort of puny.
I'm little, but I'm old.
How old's your father?
Haven't got one.
Is he dead?
No.
Then if he's not dead, you've got one, haven't you?
Never mind her, Dill.
If his father isn't dead, how can he say he hasn't got one? How?
Scout, the Radley place.
Nathan Radley.
How do you do, Mr. Nathan?
Boo Radley's older brother. Boo Radley's in there all by himself, and he hasn't come out in 20, 30 years.
30 years?
When old Mr. Radley died, some folks thought Boo would have to come out. But Nathan moved in and took his father's place.
Wonder what he does. Look like he stick his head out the door every once in a while.
Well, I think he comes out when it's pitch dark. His azaleas wilt when he breathes on them. No one touches a pecan that falls out of the old rotted pecan tree. It'll kill you. I've seen his tracks in my backyard many a morning, and I heard scratch in my back screen door.
Wonder what he looks like.
Well, judging from his tracks, he's about 6.5 feet tall, eats raw squirrels and cats if he can catch. What's left of his teeth are yellow and rotted. His eyes pop out, and he drools most of the time.
Let's make him come out.
Make Boo Radley come out?
If you want to get yourself killed, all you have to do is go knock on his front door.
You're scared. Too scared to put your big toe on the front lawn.
I ain't scared. I'm just respectful.
I dare you.
You dare me?
Don't go near it, Jem. Why, if you get killed with Atticus so old, what would become of me?
Well,
Oh, don't hurry me.
Scout and me's right behind you. Someone at the window! Look at the curtains!
He's watching. He saw us.
Don't ever do that.
Where'd you get that chewing gum?
It was sticking in the knothole.
That tree? Spit it out right now.
I was just getting the flavor.
Suppose Boo Radley put it there. Suppose it was poison. Go gargle.
That'd take the taste out of my mouth.
Let's throw a pebble against the door. Then, when he comes out, say we want to buy him an ice cream. That'll seem friendly. Maybe he'd feel better.
How do you know he doesn't feel good now?
How do you feel if you've been shut up for 30 years with nothing but raw cats to eat? Of course, if you'd rather I throw the pebble.
No, better leave it to me.
You're not going to throw a stone at the Radley house.
Guess I'm just gonna have to show you.
Atticus!
What are you doing, Jim?
Nothing, sir.
Give me any of that. Just tell me.
I was gonna throw a stone at the Radley place.
Why?
Because, sir, I'm Charles Baker Harris. I'm staying with my Aunt Rachel. We thought Mr. Radley might enjoy us.
Son, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you one time. Do not bother that man.
But why doesn't he ever...
What Mr. Radley does is his own business. If he wants to stay inside, he can stay inside, free from the inquisitive eyes of children. How would you like it if I barge into your room at night without knocking?
Well, that's different.
Oh, is it?
We're not crazy.
What Mr. Radley does may seem peculiar to us, but it does not seem peculiar to him.
Anyone who stays inside all the time and never comes out.
That is his decision. Say, got something I'm going to ask you. And if you do it, you get along better with all kinds. You see, you can't really understand a person until you consider things from their point of view,
Sir,
until you climb into their skin and walk around in it.
you want us to see things from Boo Radley's point of view?
He means everyone.
You stay out of this.
Mr. Harris is right, but I do sometimes expect too much. Oh, there's Cunningham.
I got a better plan. See ya.
And whatever you do, do not bother that man. Do not go in that house unless you are invited.
Mr. Finch, I brought you some turnip greens here.
Oh, thank you very
You're
much.
quite welcome. You know, I was going to pay you in cash, but between the mortgage and Tillman's.
Oh, this will be perfectly fine. Here, Jim, take this sack to Cal. I think our bill's settled.
You put in a lot of time.
Well, let's see now. You put a load of stove wood in the backyard, and now, and then a sack of hickory nuts.
Yep.
And last Christmas, it was a crate of smilax and holly. And then this bag of turnip greens. Oh, I'm more than well paid.
If you say so, Mr. Finch.
Your boy's in my class at school, Mr. Cunningham. We had a disagreement the other day.
I've had some myself with that boy.
I didn't actually beat him up bad.
Well, if he can't defend himself against girls, then he's just going to have to take it, right? Much obliged, Mr. Finch.
Yeah.
Scout,
Anytime I can be of help.
Why does he pay with stove wood and turnip greens?
Because that's the only way he can.
Are we poor, Atticus?
We are indeed.
As poor as the Cunninghams?
No, not exactly. The Cunninghams are country folk, and the Depression hit them the hardest. Say, what was your problem with my client's son?
He said some things I didn't like. I rubbed his nose in the dirt.
Ooh, that's not very ladylike. What'd he say?
Things. And I think we should have a talk. I've been watching for you to get home because I want to know.
Atticus, catch!
Hold on there, son. Not today.
Atticus, will you be going out for the Methodist for the football game?
For the what game?
Well, it's not till fall, but everyone's talking about it already. So the Baptists challenge the Methodists to a game of touch football.
Well, I was not planning on playing. I would not be much help, son.
But everybody's father's playing.
Everybody except yours.
Every other father.
Except yours.
It's touch.
Oh, I'd break my neck.
Atticus, will you be going out? No. Scout, will you show us how to shoot our air rifles?
Son, I told you. Gotta ask Uncle Jack. He will really show you.
Couldn't you show us?
Son, I have no interest in guns.
You're not interested in anything.
You better go get your football.
Atticus, tell me, what's rape?
Rape is carnal knowledge of a female by force.
If that's all it is, why did Calpurnia dry up when I asked her? Atticus, do you defend niggers?
I do, and don't say nigger, Scout. It's so common.
It's what everybody at school says.
From now on, everybody less one.
Do all lawyers defend Negroes?
They do.
Then why do the kids at school make it sound like you're doing something awful?
You know, there are some things you're too young to understand yet, Scout, but there isn't a lot of high talk around town. I shouldn't do much to defend Tom Robinson, but I'm going to defend that man.
If they say you shouldn't, why are you doing it?
Well, the main reason, if I didn't do it, I couldn't really respect myself now, could I? I couldn't even tell you or Jem not to do something.
You mean Jem and me wouldn't have to mind you anymore?
That's about it.
Why?
Because I couldn't really ask you to mind me anymore. To tell you the truth, I kind of wish I'd never gotten a case like this, but Judge Taylor pointed at me and said, "You are it."
You sound like some old Confederate veteran.
Only this time we wouldn't be fighting Yankees, we'd be fighting our friends. And remember, no matter how bitter things get, this is our home and these are our friends.
Is there something you want me to do, Atticus?
Yeah, I'd like you to keep your head up and keep your fists down. And I hope to God you can get through whatever's coming to town here. And I tell you, why some reasonable people go stark raving mad when anything involving a Negro comes up, I cannot begin to understand.
The Tom Robinson case must be pretty important.
It's about right and wrong.
Suppose you're wrong about it.
How's that?
Most people think that they're right, and you're wrong.
Well, they're entitled to think that, and they are entitled to full respect for that opinion.
Dinner's ready.
But one thing doesn't abide by a mob rule, honey, and that is your conscience.
Jim, I was talking with Atticus about the Tom Robinson case.
Dinner ready yet?
Yes, what Atticus said. Why do folks slow down as they go past?
Oh! Woo! Yeah! Ooh-wee.
Niece, I thought I heard Calpurnia call you for dinner.
But that's ugly.
Come on, Scout.
The Tom Robinson case must be not as new to you as it is to me.
I guess not. Tension in the town about the approaching trial is beginning to get drum tight. And the talk beginning to get ugly. But something happened a few weeks later that made Atticus even more of a puzzle. And it had nothing to do with the case. It had to do with a liver-colored bird dog named Tim.
Come home.
'Cause I tell you, that dog down yonder, he's sick.
It's only Tim, and he's gotten lopsided, that's all.
Cal, can you come out a minute?
What is it, Jim? I can't come out every time you ask me.
Cal, there's something wrong with that dog down yonder.
I don't have time to be bothered with a dog's foot.
No, Cal, look.
You trying to catch his tail, Jim?
No, Cal, he's sick. Look at him.
You telling me a fib, Jim Fitch?
No, Cal, and he's coming this way.
He really does look sick.
Yeah.
You two get off the street. I'm gonna call your dad. Hello, operator. Miss LeMay. I need Mr. Finch's office right away. There's a mag dog coming down the street, and he's coming, Jim says he's coming this way. Yes, sir. Yes.
What'd Atticus say?
Just a minute.
You started something.
Can you call Miss Crawford and whoever else has the phone and tell them that a mag dog's coming? Please, ma'am, hurry.
What about the Radleys? They got a phone?
Stay back.
He's coming now, Mr. Radley.
Get back off the porch. Get back.
You always pick on me.
Stay back. Mr. Nathan. Mr. Boo, there's a mad dog coming. You hear me? There's a mad dog coming. Don't come outside. There's a mad dog.
Old Tim's walking like his right leg's shorter than his left.
He brought the sheriff.
Someone has to stop old Tim. Atticus, he's over there behind the...
Not running, is he, Cal?
Look like he's behind that Bradley's pecan tree.
Usually they go in a straight line, but you never can tell.
Now, that slope will bring him back up onto the main road.
Is he looking for a place to die, Mr. Heck?
I don't know, Jim. I can't see him.
Now, there he is.
I thought Mad Dogs foamed at the mouth and jumped at your throat.
Hush.
Yeah,
Come
there he
on.
is, right there.
He just looks sick.
Oh, he's got it all right, Mr. Finch.
There he is. There. He's in range. Go ahead. Take the shot. Take the shot. You got him.
Oh, Mr. Finch, you do it.
Oh, just stop wasting time. Take it.
Come on, man. This is a one-shot job.
Oh, don't just stand there. Go ahead.
Mr. Finch, I can't shoot well, and you know it.
Shot a gun in 30 years.
I'd feel mighty comfortable if you did now.
What's he gonna do with the rifle?
Mr. Heck?
Sweet Jesus, help us.
Where is he?
Hang on. He's coming into range here. He's coming.
I wonder what he's gonna do.
You think he'll shoot him?
Here we go. Yeah, I'm going to try it
I've
again.
never seen him with a gun before.
And bang!
Oh, wow.
Woo-wee! You got him, Mr. Finch.
Yep.
Got him.
Mm-hmm. He's a little to the right, though. If I had my druthers, I have a shotgun.
Dead as a doornail. Just a little to the right.
I always was.
I'll have someone come down with a pickup and take him away.
You stay on the porch.
To stay on the porch.
Atticus?
Yes, son?
I didn't know.
I saw that. One shot, Finch.
Oh, Jim, you and Scout stay away from that dog. He's as dangerous dead as alive.
Yes, sir. Atticus?
Yes.
What's the matter, boy? Can't you talk? Didn't know your daddy's the #1 shot.
Oh, hush now, Heck. Now let's go back into town.
What's the hurry now? Got to get back to the trial.
Oh, don't remind me.
Did you see him, Scout?
What if Tim wasn't really mad? Maybe he was just full of fleas. And Atticus Finch just shot him dead.
If that was Tim still coming up the street, maybe you'd be singing a different tune.
Well, maybe I would. I'll admit I did feel a mighty bit safer when I saw Atticus take that rifle.
Did you see him, Scout? He did it so quick.
Miss Scout, you still think your father can't do anything? You still ashamed of him?
No, ma'am.
I forgot to tell you the other day. Your father was known as the deadest shot in Macomb County.
Dead shot.
When he was a boy, his nickname was Old One Shot. Something for you to think about, Jim Finch.
Wonder why he never goes hunting now.
Marksmanship like that it's a gift from God. I think maybe your father laid down his rifle when he realized God had given him an unfair advantage.
Looks to me he'd be proud of it.
People like your father never bother with pride in their gifts.
I'll have something to tell him at school on Monday.
I don't think we should mention this.
I gotta find the Cunningham boy right now. Not everybody's daddy the deadest shot in Macomb County.
He wanted us to know. He'd have told us.
Maybe it just slipped his mind.
No, it's something you don't understand.
Hey, Mr. Bose.
Don't you say hey to me, you ugly girl. You say, good afternoon, Mrs. Dubose. You should be in a dress and camisole, young lady.
What's the matter with her? Why is she so hateful?
Come on, Scout. Just hold your head high and be a gentleman.
A lovelier lady than your mother never lived. It's shocking the way Atticus Finch lets her children run wild.
I'm with you.
We'll keep walking.
Oh, not only a Finch waiting on tables, but one in the courthouse lawing for Negroes.
Let's keep going, Jem.
Oh, what's this world coming to? Finch is going against their raising. Your father's no better than the trash he works for. He's a Negro lover.
I'll fix her.
Jem, hold your head high and...
She has no right. Just because Atticus, I'm sick and tired of everybody. Everybody, stay out of this. Go home.
Come back! Jem! Jem's gone crazy! He's knocking off the tops off every camellia bush Mr. Bose owns!
Thought Jim had a slow fuse.
Not anymore, he's gone crazy!
From people saying things about your father?
Yes, Mr. Bose. How'd you know? We found out something about Atticus today. Something special.
About time.
I thought you were staying with your folks in Meridian.
I was. What you found out about your father?
He's the deadest shot in Macomb County.
That's what you found out?
It's the truth, so it doesn't matter what folks say.
Wouldn't matter anyway.
Again, I thought you were staying with your folks back in Meridian.
Yeah, I was.
Then how in the Sam Hill?
You see, I have a new father, and he doesn't like me very much, so he had me bound in chains and left to die in the basement. But I was secretly kept alive on raw field beans by a peasant farmer who heard my cries for help.
If you were chained up in the basement, then how did
The good man poked a bushel of beans from me, pod by pod, but through the ventilator.
Lucky you, that good man was passing.
I pulled myself free, pulling chains from the walls. Then I wandered out of Meridian, where I found a small animal show, and they hired me to wash the camel.
How do you go about washing the camel?
Suddenly, my sense of direction, I was just across the river from Maycomb. What I did then...
Dill, how did you get here?
I took $13 from my mother's purse and took the 9 o'clock train from Meridian.
Why'd you run off?
Didn't run off. Decided I'd come back. That's all.
You wanted to stay with your Aunt Rachel?
I want to stay here.
With us?
We're gonna have a hot summer.
I don't care.
Jem.
Dill. Jim. Just got a phone call a minute ago. Are you responsible for the damage to these flowers?
Yes, sir.
Why'd you do it?
Because Mr. Bose said you lawed for Negroes.
And that's why you destroyed the garden?
Yes.
Son, I can understand your annoyance with your contemporaries about me lawing for niggers, as they say, but to do something like that to a poor sick old lady is inexcusable. You need to go over there and talk to Mr. Bose right now.
Talk to her.
Right now.
But...
Go.
But, sir...
Scout?
All right, I'll go talk to her.
And come straight home afterwards.
All he was doing was standing up for you.
Never thought I'd any trouble with Jem losing his head. I always thought it'd be you.
Why do we have to keep our heads about anything anyway? Nobody at school has to keep his head about anything.
You're going to have a lot worse reason to be keeping your head very soon. Aunt Rachel didn't say you were coming back.
She doesn't know.
Please, Mr. Finch, don't tell her I'm here.
Don't tell her.
He's run away.
If you can make me go back, I'll run away again.
No, wait a minute now, son. What?
He's been living on raw beans.
Scout!
Really? Well, I'll tell you what. Let me go do a little telephoning. See if I can talk to your Aunt Rachel, and maybe she'll let you stay on for a night and a couple of days. And maybe we can get you something to go with those raw beans.
Oh, I'm fine. Not hungry at all.
I think you'd be starving. Was your father really hateful like you said?
That's not it. They just wasn't interested in me.
You're not telling me right. They must need you.
No, they don't. They stay gone most of the time, and when they're home, they're always off by themselves. They're not mean or everything. They buy me everything I want, but then it's, now you gotta go play with it.
You must agree. They need you. Why, Atticus couldn't get along a day without my help and advice.
The thing about your father is, it's not that he's a dead shot. It's...
He made Jem go over to Mr. Bose.
Don't you see why he did that?
Because it's his way.
And Jem will be all right. If I get to stay a couple days, I get a new plan for bringing out Boo Radley.
Do you want to see what else I found sticking in the knothole? 2 Indian head pennies, all selecta.
Who would leave valuable Indian head pennies?
Why do you reckon Boo Radley's never come out?
Maybe he has no order not to. For my plan, we'll need a box of lemon drops. I'll set one just outside the door, then a row of them leading down the street. When he thinks he's safe, he'll come out to pick the lemon drops. Then another, then another. He'll follow like an ant. Then another, then another, then another, then another, then a...
You know, you've been the subject of considerable conversation.
What Aunt Rachel say?
Well, it started under the heading of, oh, his poor folks must be losing their minds. And then it ended with, well, I reckon he can stay on a few days.
Hey, hear that?
So I thought I'd call your parents.
What'd they say?
Couldn't have been more agreeable. They said you are perfectly fine to stay here as long as you don't get in the way.
Great, isn't that great?
Sure is. Guess they were looking all over Meridian for me.
No, they just thought you were stuck in some picture show.
Normally, they'd be right too.
You know what? We're going to be in for a mighty rough time coming up here, Dill. It'd be good to have you around.
You mean?
You'll be a big help, Dill. We have a spare cot in Jem's room.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Ah, there's Heck.
Atticus, could I talk to you, please?
Sure.
What is it?
Well, whenever 2 adults are talking in the front yard, it's one of 2 things. One, it's politics, and the other is death. So, let's see what it's all about.
Could be a little of both.
So, what's the news? Oh, you two, we're going to be talking here. So you two go in and help Cal. I said, go help Cal.
Don't think you can boss me.
They have business.
They moved Tom Robinson to the county jail this morning. Now, I don't go looking for trouble, but I can't guarantee there won't be any.
Now, don't be foolish, Heck. This is Macomb.
I'm just uneasy, that's all.
Let's see now. The trial is probably in a couple of days. Can you hang on to him for a while, just for those days? I mean, I cannot imagine anyone would begrudge me a client with times as tough.
It's just that old Sarum bunch. I mean, you know how they get when they get all shinnied up.
They've been drinking?
Could be. I don't see why you'd touch this case, Mr. Finch. You got everything to lose.
You really think so?
Yes, Atticus. I mean, everything.
Heck, that boy may be going to the chair, but he ain't going until the truth be told. And you know as well as I do what that truth is.
I just thought I should keep you informed, that's all.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Heck.
Take care of yourself.
All right, I will. So?
I talked to her and I said I'd try to make her flowers go back. And I said I was sorry. But I'm not.
Well, what good's it do to say you're sorry if you're not?
How about what she said?
She is a sick old lady. Oh, I've got work to do.
She wants me to read to her 2 hours every day. Do I have to?
You do.
For her house is so dark and creepy, and there are shadows on the ceiling.
Well, it's a great chance for you to use your imagination. Just imagine you're in Boo Radley's house.
He's sure in a particular mood these days. What hectate went?
Oh, you know, just the death and politics.
Don't be silly. They just wanted to talk about how they moved Tom Robinson to the county jail.
Your father said I could stay and take a spare cot in your room.
What did he come read to Mr. Bose?
Ivanhoe. Why would she want me to read to her 2 hours every day?
Seemed like your father wasn't surprised.
Why wouldn't he be?
Ask him.
Nothing.
Listen now. You folks are probably going to be in bed by the time I get back, so I'll just say my good nights now.
Where are you going?
Out? I've got things to do.
What are you doing with the chair and light bulb?
I've got things I'm going to do with them. And Cal will take care of you. They're all yours.
I'll do my best, Mr. Finch.
Where's he going?
I could guess, but I won't say. Come in and get washed. All three of you.
I really need a wash.
Why wouldn't she guess?
Why was Atticus taking a chair and light bulb? Before I get washed and go to bed, I may walk downtown a while.
You got a case of look-arounds?
You know, I may go look around too.
What? What are y'all talking about?
Thanks for stopping by, Miss Stephanie.
Best view in town. First, Atticus goes by carrying a chair, and then the three children just take off after him. I can't imagine where they're going.
My guess is the jailhouse. The jail is Makeham's only conversation piece. Its detractors say it looks like a Victorian privy.
And its supporters say that it gives the town a good, solid, respectable look. And no stranger would ever suspect that it's full of Negroes.
Go home, Miss Stephanie.
The cake was heavenly.
A light from the jailhouse.
Look, there he is.
Well, let's.
No, Scout.
I just want to ask him why he's sitting in front of the jailhouse.
Maybe we shouldn't bother him right now.
But
it's pretty late.
He's all right. Let's go home. Just wanted to see where he was.
after all this running around town, we might at least.
Shh.
He can't hear me.
No, listen.
It's cars. A lot of cars.
Wonder what?
So many.
I think something's happening.
Get down. Get down and watch.
Is he in there, Mr. Finch?
Yes, he is, but he's sleeping. Don't wake him up.
You know what we want, Mr. Finch. Step aside from the porch. Come on.
Well, I think you may just should turn around and go back home, Miss Cunningham.
Can't do that. I can't do that.
Might as well. Hectate's around here somewhere.
The hell he is.
Heck's butt's so deep in the woods he won't get out till morning.
Indeed. Why so?
Called him off on a snipe hunt.
Think about that, Mr. Finch.
Too hard about
I thought about it, but I did not believe it.
Not at all. Well, I guess that changes things, right, boys?
I guess you do.
Take care of things.
You really think so?
He said you really think so.
Meat's gonna deal with somebody. I'm gonna see this.
Scout!
What's
Jeff!
going on here?
Go
What
home.
are they doing here?
You go home now.
Will you be coming with us?
I told you to go
I'll
home.
send them home for you. I'm telling you.
Scout, Scout, we do not kick folks.
But
No, Scout.
nobody's going to do Jem that way.
All right, Mr. Finch, get him out of here.
Got 15 seconds.
I ain't going.
I am begging you. Jem, take them and go home.
Let's go.
No, sir.
Come on. Get him out of here. You're a man, ain't you? All three of you get the hell out of here. Come on. Now, Patty, that's ugly. Let's go. Let's go in.
Do you
Come on.
remember me? I'm Scout. You brought us a big bag of turnip greens that one time, remember?
Scout.
Your boy's in my class at school. Walter. Well, he's
Quit,
your
Charlie.
boy, ain't
Shut your pie hole.
he? Ain't he? Ain't he, sir? Knew he was your boy. Maybe he told you about me because I beat him up that one time. Tell Walter hey for me, won't you? Well, Atticus was telling me about the entailments. He said they're bad. Atticus, I was just telling Mr. Cunningham and how you said that the entailments are bad. But you said not to worry, because we rattle out together. What's the matter? Can anybody tell me? What's going on? Mr. Cunningham!
Grab this, Charlie. Nothing matter, little lady. I'll tell my boy you said hey, okay? All right? Clear out, boys. No, this is not right. Let's go. Let's go.
Come on.
Bob, you better get your tail back there.
God damn it. What do you mean we leaving?
Come on.
They're going.
Bob.
Looks like they are.
Cruising.
Atticus, can we go home now?
Yes, I think we can go home now.
Mr. Finch,
I thought Mr.
Yeah, hang on. Yes, Tom.
are they gone yet?
Not yet. They just left. They just left, Tom. They won't bother you.
Okay, you get some sleep.
Oh, I will. You too. All right. We got a busy day coming up.
Yes, sir.
Good night, Tom. You were saying?
I thought Mr. Cunningham was a friend.
Well, he is a friend. He has some blinders, just like all of us.
But he was ready to hurt you.
Oh, Miss Cunningham is part of a mob, and a mob is made up of people. And Mr. Cunningham is still a man. What you did reminded him of that.
Could I carry the chair for you, sir?
Oh, please. Thank you. Now, you two, you don't listen very well now, do you?
Can we go home now?
Yes, I think we can.
What was it you said that we did to Mr. Cunningham?
You helped him walk in my shoes for a moment.
The next Monday, people were streaming into town like it was Saturday. Seemed like the whole county was coming for Tom Robinson's trial. And where are you going?
To the jitney jungle.
In a hat and glove?
Well, I thought I might just swing on over to the courthouse and see what Atticus is up to.
Be careful he doesn't hand you a subpoena. You seem to know so much about the case. When I got to the courthouse square, it was covered in picnic parties. Apparently, the trial was to be a gala occasion. There was no room at the public kitchen rails. Mules and wagons were parked beneath every available tree. People were washing down biscuits and syrup with warm milk from fruit jars. In the far corner of the square, Negroes sat in the sun, very quiet. And at some invisible signal, they all got up and started into the courthouse.
We're too late. There's no seats.
You guys can sit with us if you don't mind sitting on the colored side of the balcony.
Why, yes.
All right. God bless you.
In your own words, Mr. Tate.
Well, I was called.
Could you say it to the jury, Mr. Tate, who called you?
I was called by Mr. Bob Ewell yonder one night.
And what night would that be, sir?
The night of November 21st. I was about to head home from the office when Mr. Bob Ewell came in very excited he was and said, get to his house quick. Some Negro raped his girl.
And did you go?
Certainly. Got in my car and went as quick as I could.
And what did you find?
Well, Mayala was on the floor, mighty banged up she was, and so I heaved her to her feet and got her over to the water bucket, and she said she was all right.
No, all right. And then what happened?
Well, I asked her who did it, and she said it was Tom Robinson, so I asked her if he beat her up like that, and she said yes, he had. Asked her if he took advantage of her, and she said yes, he did. So I went over to Robinson's place, and I brought him back, and she identified him as the one, so I took him in. That's about all there was to it.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions, Atticus?
Yes. Did you call a doctor, Sheriff?
No, sir.
Why not?
Didn't seem necessary.
And you didn't?
You answered the question, Atticus. He didn't call a doctor.
All right, I just wanted to make sure, Judge. Sheriff, say she was mighty banged up. In what way? Could you describe her injuries, please?
Well, she had bruises starting in on her arms, and her face was all beat up.
Her face was beat up.
Mm-hmm.
Any bruises or?
Yeah, her eye was blackened.
Her eye? Which eye?
The left eye.
Her left eye looking the same way you're looking, or left eye looking this way?
Well, that'd make it a right eye. It was that side of her face.
No, wait a minute now. You said it was that side of her face. Which side?
The right side.
The right side. That's all, Judge.
Robert Yu.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
So help me God!
Mr. Robert Yu?
That's the name, Captain.
Are you the father of Mael Yu?
Well, if I ain't, wouldn't do nothing about it now because I'm all dead.
Are you the father of Mael Ewell?
Yes, sir.
Now get this straight. There'll be no audibly obscene speculation from anybody in this courtroom. You got that straight? All right, Mr. Gilmer.
Thank you, sir. Now, Mr. Yu, could you please tell us what happened on the evening of November 21st?
I was coming in from the woods with some kindling, and just as I got to the fence, I heard her yell. She was a squealing like a stuck hog inside the house.
And what time was it, Mr. Yu?
Full sundown. I was saying, Mayella was a screaming to beat Jesus.
Yes, she was screaming?
Oh, she was making a holy racket. So I dropped my load and I run to the window as fast as I could. And I seen that black nigga yonder.
Bob Ewell!
Mr. Jim! Mr. Jim!
Sit down, Bob Ewell! I will not have that in my
This ain't
Do you hear me, sir? I will
This
arrest
ain't
you
fit
right
for
now.
Miss Scout,
Do
and it's
not play.
definitely not fit for you boys.
Confines of this court.
Quiet! Now, there's been a request to have this courtroom clear of spectators, at least women and children. A request at this time will be denied. Now, people generally see what they look for and hear what they listen for. And they have the right to determine whatever they best think is there for their children. Now, you may feel there's something here to be learned, or you may feel you don't wish to be a part of this problem. The decision is up to you. I suggest you make that decision right now. Now, I'm interrupting this trial for a 10-minute recess. got a few with us. Let's get on. Mr. You will keep your comments within the confines of English usage of language, if that's possible. Proceed, Mr. Yule.
Where were we? We were...
Mr. Yule, did you see the defendant having sexual intercourse with your daughter?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my God. Thank you, sir. You said you were at the window?
Yes, sir.
Did you have a clear view of the room?
Yes, sir.
And what did the room look like?
It was all slung about like there'd been a fight.
And what did you do when you saw the defendant?
Well, I was running around the house to get in, and just as I got there, he ran out the front door. Now, I knew who it was, but Mayella, she was distracting me, so I didn't chase after him. She was in there squalling, so I went in the house.
Then what happened?
I ran the heck tape quick as I could. I seen who it was past the house every day. He lives down yonder in that nigger nest. Judge, I've been on the county for 15 years to clean up that nest down yonder. They're dangerous to live around. Besides the value in my property.
That's all, Mr. Yule. Thank you.
Just a minute, sir. I ask you a couple of questions.
Sure. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Yule. Oh, folks were doing a lot of running around that night, now weren't they? I ran to the house, ran to the window, ran inside. During all this running, anybody think to run to get a doctor?
Wasn't no need no doctor.
You didn't think the nature of your daughter's injuries warranted immediate medical attention?
Never called a doctor in my life. If I had, it would have cost me $5. Is that all the questions?
No, I got a couple more. You did hear Sheriff Cates' testimony, did you not?
Yeah.
Did you agree with it? Did you agree with his description of her injuries? She had been beaten around the face.
A holes of everything takes in.
Beaten, and her right eye had been blackened.
A holes of tape.
Mr. Yule, can you read and write?
Objection. I can't see what the witness's literacy has to do with the case. Irrelevant and immaterial.
Judge, if you'll allow it, and one more, I think you'll see where I'm going.
All right, so make sure we see Atticus. Overruled.
Mr. Yule, would you please write your name?
Yeah, those boss Judy will. I think I signed my relief check.
Jen, do you think Atticus knows what he's doing?
Seems like he knows.
As far back as I can remember, he said never, never, never ask a question or cross-examination unless you already know the answer.
Because you might get an answer that'll wreck your case.
Looks to me he's got a frog sticking without a laugh.
All right, then. Now, I'd like you to write your signature one more time. Do it big and do it so the whole jury can see you do it.
Now, what is so interesting?
He's left-handed.
That's it.
What's my left hand? Me left-handed have to do with anything? What? He's taking advantage of me! Tricking lawyers like Atticus Finch. They've been taking advantage of me all my life. I know that I seen, and I'll say it again. I seen that nigger!
That is all, Mr. Yule. That is all, Mr. Yule. Thank you.
Mayella Violet Yule.
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Could you please tell all of us what happened on the evening of November 21st? Where were you at dusk on that evening?
I was on the porch.
And what were you doing on the porch?
Just tell us what happened. You can do that, can't you? What are you scared of? What was that?
Him! I don't want him doing me like he done Papa, making him out left-handed.
How old are you?
19 and a half.
I see. Well, Mr. Finch has no idea it scared you. If he did, I'm here to stop you. Now, sit up straight and tell us what happened.
Well, I was on the porch and he came along and you see, there was this old ship rope from the yard Papa brought in to chop up for kindling. Papa told me to do it when he was off in the woods, but I just wasn't feeling strong enough that day and he came by and...
Who is he?
That yonder Robinson.
Then what happened?
I said, come here, boy, and bust up this ship rope for me. I got a nickel for you. So he came in the yard, and I went in the house to go get him the nickel, and before I knew it, he was on me. I tried to fight, but he got me around the neck, and he hit me again and again and again.
Go on.
And he took advantage of me.
Did you scream and fight back?
Kicked and hollered as loud as I could.
Then what happened?
I don't remember too good, but Papa come in the room, and he was hollering, who done it? And then I kind of fainted. The next thing I knew, Mr. Tate was helping me over to the water bucket.
You fought Robinson hard as you could, tooth and nail?
I positively did.
And you are positive he took full advantage of you?
I already told you, he took what he was after.
That's all. But stay here. I assume Big Bad Mr. Finch has some questions for us.
State will not prejudice the witness against the counsel for the defense.
Miss Mayella, I won't try and scare you for a while, at least not yet. How old are you?
I said I was 19, said it to the judge yonder.
Oh, you have to bear with me, Miss Mayella. My memory's not as good as it used to be. I may ask you some things you've already answered. But you'll answer me, won't you? Good.
Won't answer as long as you keep mocking me.
Yeah.
As long as you call me ma'am and say Miss Mayella, I don't have to take his sass.
That's just Mr. Finch's way. We've done business in this court for many years. He's always been courteous. Atticus, let's get on.
How many
and let the record shows the witness has not been sassed.
Thank you. How many brothers and sisters do you have?
7.
You the oldest?
Yes.
How long's your mom been dead?
Don't know. Long time.
How long go to school?
2 year, 3 year, I don't know.
Oh, Miss Mayella, a 19-year-old girl must have some friends. Who are your friends?
Friends?
You know, people your age, boys, girls, regular friends.
Are you making fun of me again, Mr. Finch?
Do you love your father, Miss Mayella?
Love him? What do you mean?
Does he good to you? Is he easy to get along with?
He does tolerable, except when...
Except when?
I said he does tolerable.
Except when he's been drinking? Has he gotten riled and beaten you before?
Answer the question, Miss Mayella.
My paws never cut the hair on my head.
All right, well, had a good visit there, Miss Mayella. We better get down to the case. You say you asked Tom Robinson to bust up a what?
A chiffro, an old dresser.
And how well do you know Tom?
What do you mean?
I mean, do you know who he was? Do you know where he lived?
I know who he was. I mean, he passed the house every day.
Was this the first time you asked him inside the
Yes, it
tent?
was.
Never asked him in there before?
I did not. I certainly did not.
Never asked him to do any odd jobs for him?
I mean, I might have. There were several Negroes around.
Remember any other occasions?
No.
All right. Let's get to what happened. You said Tom Robinson got you around the neck. Is that right?
That's what I said.
You say he caught me, he choked me, and took advantage of me. Is that right?
Yes.
Do you remember him beating you around the face? You, sure enough, he choked you. All this time you were fighting back. You remember you kicked and you hollered. Do you remember him beating you around the face? It's an easy enough question, Miss Mayo, so I'll ask it again. Do you remember him beating you around the face?
No, I don't recollect if he hit me. I mean, yes I do. He hit me!
Was your last sentence your answer?
Yes, he hit me. I don't remember. It all happened so fast.
Don't you cry, young woman.
Just get me up here and mock me, will ya? I'll answer any questions you got.
That's fine, there's only a few more. Would you identify the person that attacked you?
I most certainly will. That's him right yonder.
Tom, stand up. Let Miss Mayo have a good look at you. Is this the man, Miss Mayo?
Scout, remember his hand, he's crippled.
Got his hand caught in a cotton gin. He was, boy, tore all his muscle up.
This the man that attacked you?
It is, yes.
How?
I don't know how, but he did. I said it all happened so fast.
All right, then let's consider this.
Checks he's browbeating the witness.
Oh, sit down, Horace.
Miss Mayo, you testified the defendant choked you and beat you. You didn't say he sneaked up behind you and knocked you cold. Do you want to change any of that testimony?
You want me to say something didn't happen?
No, I want you to say something that did happen.
And I already told you.
All right. He hit you. He blackened your right eye with his right fist.
I ducked in it. It glanced. That's what it did. I ducked in. It glanced off of me.
You're a strong girl. Why didn't you run?
I tried to.
Why didn't the other children hear you? If you're out there yelling, now where were they? Why didn't any of those children come to your rescue? Where were they? Or didn't you scream until you saw your father in the window? Is that why you were screaming, girl? Is because you were afraid of what he was seeing through that window? Come on, child, tell the truth. Was it your father that beat you up and not Tom, you?
I got something to say. I got something to say, and then I ain't gonna say no more. That nigger yonder took advantage of me, and if you fine faced gentlemen don't want to do nothing about it, then you're all yellow sticky cowards. Sticky cowards, the lot of you. Your fancy airs, they don't come to nothing. Your family and Miss Mayo are in. Well, don't come to nothing, Mr. Finch.
That's all. You can step down now. So, let's stay the rest.
Think we can wind this up this afternoon, Andrews?
I think we can.
How many witnesses you got?
Just one.
Well, call.
I call Tom Robinson.
So. It's all right, Tom.
Swear the evidence you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Sure.
You're Tom Robinson, married, 3 children. You've been in trouble with the law once before. What did that consist of?
Got in a fight with another man. He tried to cut me, but it wasn't much. Not enough to hurt.
Were you both convicted?
I had to serve because I couldn't pay the fine. The other fella paid his.
All right. Were you acquainted with Miss Mayella Violet Ewell?
Yes, sir. I had to pass her place going to and from the field.
Whose field?
I work for Mr. Linkdiz.
So, you had to pass the Ewell place on the way to work. Was there any other way to go?
No, sir. None as I know of.
Tom, did she ever speak to you?
Why, yes, sir. I take my hat when I go by. One day, she asked me to come inside the fence and bust up a chef rope.
When did she ask you to bust up that chef rope?
Mr. Finch, it was way last spring. When I broke it up, she said, I reckon I have to give you a nickel. And I said, no, ma'am. No charge. Then I went home. And that was way over a year ago.
Ever go to that place again?
Yes, sir.
When?
I went lots of times.
Under what circumstance? Why did you go lots of times?
She called me in. Seemed like every time I passed by yonder, she had something for me to do. Chopping, killing, toting water for
You ever paid for these services?
her. No, sir. Not after she offered me a nickel the first time. I was glad to do it. Mr. Ewell didn't seem to help none. Neither did the children. And I know she didn't have no nickels to spare.
Where were the other children?
They were all the way around. All over the place.
Would Miss Mayella talk to you?
Yes, sir. She talked to me.
Did you ever, at any time, go on the Ewell property? Did you ever set foot on the Ewell property without express permission from one of them?
No, sir. Mr. Fenton never did. I wouldn't do that, sir.
What happened to you on the evening of November 21st?
Mr. Finch, I was going home as usual. When I passed the Ewell place, Miss Mayella was on the porch, like she said she was. It seemed real quiet like, and I didn't know quite why. She called for me to come there and help her a minute. When I went inside the fence, I looked for some kindling to work on, but I didn't see none. She says, no, I got something else for you to do in the house. The doors was off the hinges. I said, you got a screwdriver, Miss Mayella? She said she had. I went up the steps. She motioned for me to come inside. I went in, looked at the door. I said, Miss Mayella, this door look all right. Those hinges was all right. Then she shut the door. Mr. Finch, I was wondering why it was so quiet. Then it come to me. There was no child on the place. Not one of them. And I said, Miss Mayella, where are the children?
Go on, Tom.
She said they all going to town to get ice cream. She said it took me a second to save 7 nickels. Well done. They all going to town.
Tom, what'd you say then?
I said something like, well, Miss Man, that's right smart of you to treat him. She said, you think so? I don't think she understood what I was thinking. I knew it was smart of her to say it like that, and nice of her to treat him.
I understand. Go on.
I said, I best be gone. I couldn't do nothing for her. She said, oh, yes, I could. And I asked her what? She said, get up on that chair yonder and get that box down off the ship road. Another shift rope.
Okay.
It was tall as the room. So I did what she told me. And I was just reaching when she grabbed me around the legs, Mr. Finch. She scared me so bad I hopped down and turned the chair over. It was the only thing. The only furniture disturbed in that room, Mr. Finch. I swear for God.
What happened after you turned the chair over? You sworn to tell the whole truth. What happened after that?
Answer the question.
I got down off the chair. She sort of jumped at me.
Jumped at you? Violently?
No, sir. She helped me. She helped me. She hugged me around my waist.
Tom, what'd she do then?
She reached up and kissed me. She said she never kissed a grown man before. She said she might as well stop with a Negro. She said, kiss me back, Negro. I said, Miss Mayella, let me out of here. I'm not trying to run. She had her back to the door. I had to push her. I didn't want to harm her, Mr. Finch. I said, let me pass. But then I saw Mr. York, and he hollered through the window.
What'd he say?
He said something not fitting to say. Not fitting for these folks and children to hear.
Tom, the jury has to hear what he said.
He says, you goddamn hard, I'll kill you.
Then what happened?
I was running so fast, Mr. Finch, I didn't know what happened.
Tom, did you attack Mel Ewell?
I did not, sir.
Did you harm her in any way?
I did not.
Did you resist her advances?
Mr. Finch, I tried, but I being ugly. I didn't want to be ugly. I didn't want to push her.
Let's go back to Mr. Ewell. Who's he talking to?
He was talking and looking at Miss Paola.
And then you ran.
I sure did.
Why did you run?
I was scared, sir.
Why were you scared?
Mr. Finch, if you was a Negro like me, you'd be scared too.
That's all.
I want the whole lot of you to know one thing right now. Tom Robinson's worked for me 8 years. I ain't had a speck of trouble in him. Not one.
That's enough, Link Dis. Anything you got to say will be said under oath and at the proper time. Now, the jury, they'll disregard that last comment from Link Dis. Go ahead, Mr. Gilmer.
You were given 30 days for disorderly conduct, Robinson.
Yes, sir.
What'd the Negro look like when you were finished with him?
He beat me, Mr. Gilmore.
But you were convicted, weren't you?
Yes, sir. I got 30 days.
You're pretty good at busting up shift robes and killing with one hand, ain't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I reckon so.
Strong enough to choke the breath out of a woman?
I never done that, sir.
But you are strong enough.
I reckon so, sir.
Had your eye on her for a long time now, hadn't you, boy?
No, sir. Never looked at her.
Then that was mighty polite of you to do all that chopping and hollering, now wasn't it, for me, boy?
I was just trying to help her out, sir.
Now that was mighty generous of you. Why were you so anxious to do that woman's chores?
Looked like she had nobody to help her.
With Mr. Yule and 7 children on the place, boy?
Looked like she said, it looked like she ain't had no help to none.
You're telling me you did this out of sheer goodness, boy?
Just trying to help her.
You're a mighty fine fellow, it seems. Why, you did all this for not one penny.
Yes, sir. I feel right sorry for her. She seemed to try more than the rest of them.
You felt sorry for her? You felt sorry for her. He felt sorry for her. Now, you went by, as usual, last November 21st, and she told you come in and bust up the shift road.
No, sir.
Do you deny you went by the house?
No, sir.
She says she asked you come in and bust up the shift road. Is that right?
No, sir, it ain't.
Are you saying she's lying, boy?
I don't say she lying, Mr. Gilmer. I said she's mistaken in the mind.
Tell me, boy, why did you run away?
I was scared, sir.
If you had a clear conscience, why were you scared?
Like I said before, it wasn't safe for any Negro to be in a fix like that.
But you weren't in a fix. You testified you were resisting her advances. Were you scared she might hurt you? A big buck like you?
No, sir. I was scared I would be in court, just like I am now.
Scared you had to face up for what you did?
No, sir. Scared I had to face up to what I didn't do.
Are you being impudent to me, boy?
I didn't go to be.
No further questions.
You can step down, Mr. Robinson.
What's the matter with you?
I'm okay.
The heat got you? Ain't you feeling good?
Said I'm okay.
Then why'd you run out?
Just found out a couple things. Like why Boo Radley stays inside. It's because he wants to stay inside.
That don't make any sense.
Maybe he found out the way that people can go out of their way to despise each other. Why did Mr. Gilmer have to talk so hateful?
Dill, that's his job.
He didn't have to sneer and call him a boy.
That's just Mr. Gilmer's way. He does all defendants that way. Most lawyers, I mean.
Mr. Finch doesn't.
He's not an example, Dill. He's well the same in the courtroom as he is at home or on the street. It might be better if Atticus was a little more, if he was...
You don't get it. Your father's not a run-of-the-mill man.
Most people...
What do you care about most people?
If you've got a crying fit, I guess I can take it back in.
Wasn't a crying fit, just didn't like the way Mr. Gilman...
That's because you don't understand the law. His speech to the jury. How long's it been at it?
Just finished going over the evidence. And Scout, we're gonna win. I don't see how we can't.
Did that, Mr. Gilman?
Just the usual. Hush now.
With the court's permission.
Never seen him do that before.
Me either.
Gentlemen, this case is not a difficult one. It requires no minute sifting of complicated facts. Easy as black and white. The state has not produced one iota of evidence that the crime Tom Robinson is charged with ever took place. Instead, it has relied upon the testimony of two witnesses. Two witnesses whose testimony has not only been called into serious question upon cross-examination, but has been flatly denied by the defendant. I have nothing but pity in my heart for the chief witness for the state, but my pity does not extend to her putting a man's life at stake, for that is what she has done, all in an effort to hide her guilt. And I say guilt because it was guilt that motivated her. She committed no crime, but she broke a rigid code of our society. Unspeakable. And now, a man sits here on trial for his life. She committed no crime. She broke a code so severe that whoever breaks it is hounded from our midst as unfit to live with. She's a victim of cruel poverty and ignorance, but she knew full well the enormity of her offense. She persisted in it. She persisted, and what happened afterwards is something every child is familiar with. Tried to hide the evidence of their offense away. And what was that evidence? Not a missing toy. The evidence to be destroyed was Tom Robinson, a human being. Tom Robinson, a daily reminder of what she'd done. And what did she do? She tempted a Negro. She did something that is unspeakable in our society. She's white, and she tempted a Negro. Not an old uncle, but a strong, young, black man. No code mattered to her before it happened, but it sure mattered afterwards when it came crashing down on her. Your father saw what happened. And what did he do? There is circumstantial evidence to the effect that Mela Ewell was beaten savagely by somebody who led almost exclusively with their left hand.
Shut your mouth, sir. You'll be fined contempt.
And now, Mr. Ewell, who signed out a warrant, no doubt with his left hand. And Tom Robinson sits here before you, having taken the oath with the only good hand he possesses, his right hand.
You lying, tricking!
I said shut your mouth, sir. You'll be fined for contempt.
And now, a quiet, respectable Negro man who had the unmitigated temerity to feel sorry for a white woman finds himself on trial for his life. He's had to put his word up against that of two white accusers. I need not remind you of their behavior here in court and their cynical confidence that they can convince you gentlemen to go along on their assumption, their evil assumption, that all Negroes lie, all Negro men are not to be trusted with women, black or white. Neither are white men. This is a truth that applies to the entire human race and to no particular race. In this year of grace, 1935, we're hearing more and more references to Thomas Jefferson's phrase, all men are created equal. But we know that all men are not created equal in the sense that some men are smarter than others. Some men have more opportunities because they're born into it. Some men have more money. Some ladies make better cakes. And some people are born gifted beyond the normal scope. But there is one way in which all men are equal. One human institution in which a pauper is the equal of a Rockefeller and a stupid man the equal of an Einstein. And that institution, gentlemen, is our courts of law. In our courts, all men are created equal.
Amen. Amen.
I'm no idealist when I say these things about our courts and our jury system. That is no ideal to me. That is a living, working reality. But our courts are only as sound as there's juries, and our juries are only as sound as the men making them up. I trust you gentlemen will review without passion the evidence you have heard, come to a decision, and return this defendant to his family. In the name of God, do your duty.
Did he say something else as he's walking back?
I think he said in the name of God, believe him.
Look at yonder.
It's Calpurnia, isn't it?
Yes, sir. May I speak with Mr. Finch? It has nothing to do with the trial.
Of course.
Ms. Cal, what is it?
The children are missing.
Judge, my children are missing, and I'm going to have to...
Atticus, They're over there, yonder.
Jem, Scouts, get down here.
My God.
Is he mad?
We'll find out.
Hey, Atticus.
Atticus, we've won, haven't we?
I have no idea. Have you been here all afternoon? If you have, you need to go home with Cal right now.
Atticus, please, let us hear the verdict.
Did you do your reading to Mr. Bose yet?
Not today, but sir, please.
I'll tell you what. If you do your reading to Mr. Bose, have supper, then you can come back and watch the rest with Cal.
Sir?
Well, they've heard it all to this point. They might as well hear the whole thing.
Suppose the jury comes back before.
Oh, they might. They might be out and back in a minute.
You think they'll quit him that fast?
Go do your reading, eat supper, and if the trial's still going on, you come back with Cal, and you can stick around for the verdict. They're all yours, Cal.
I ought to skin you three alive. The very idea you're down here listening to all of this. Jim, don't you know better than to bring your little sister down to this trial? And Mr. Deal, you ought to be careful your aunt doesn't send you back to Meridian the first thing in the morning. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves.
Where'd he be?
Best listen up, Finch. I'm gonna kill you. If it's the last thing I do, I'm gonna kill you.
Atticus, I saw that. I think I should speak to Hecate.
Good job.
Aren't you going to say anything?
Go and sit down.
Bob Jewell wouldn't chew tobacco.
Well, at least the children didn't see that.
When they returned a few hours later, Calpurnia was still expressing her outrage.
Jim, I just knew that you were getting your head straight on your shoulders. Don't you have any sense at all?
Don't you want to see what happens?
Oh, hush. If Mr. Finch don't wear you out, I will.
The jury's still out.
How long they been out?
Hours. Mr. Finch, Mr. Gilmore did more talking to the jury. Seemed like he was mighty fair-minded. Thought he was going to make Mr. Ewell so mad that he stumped out of the room.
Judge is supposed to lean either way. Besides, we don't need it. We're gonna win anyway.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Jim, I've never seen a jury that decided in the decision of a black man. Never.
Well, this case is different.
Thank God we'll see.
Wonder where's Atticus?
That Bob Ewell looks mighty pleased about something.
Jim, ain't it a long time?
It is. That could be a good thing.
I think something's happening.
Here we go. This court will come to order.
Tom.
Scout. Look at the verdict.
What's it mean, Scout?
He's not looking at the defendant.
The defendant will rise.
What's it mean, Scout?
You're gonna see.
See what?
Hush.
court finds the defendant guilty.
Oh my God. Jesus.
We lost.
Oh my Lord.
It's all lost.
How could they do it?
No children should see anything like this. You children should not see anything like this.
What happens now? What can we do?
If the evidence don't matter, I don't see there is anything.
But they're not gonna hurt Tom Robinson. Mr. Finch won't let him. Your father will do something.
They can shout mean, hateful things at him and find Tom Robinson guilty. But no matter what any of us says, Atticus, he's...
Miss Jean, Louise, Scout. Stand up. Stand up, baby. Your father's passing. Oh, Jesus. Oh, thank you, Lord. Hallelujah.
Atticus, wait. How could they do it?
I don't know, but they did it.
Oh, Lord.
Done it before, did it today, and they'll do it again. And it seems like when it happens, only the children weep.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
We can still do something, can't we?
It's a shame.
Seems like Minute Maid will open her mouth. Tom Robinson was a dead man.
Gemma.
I'm absolutely surprised at you children. What were you thinking going to court? Did Atticus tell you that you could go? And what were you doing sitting over in the colored section? Several people mentioned it. What? What?
Hush, Miss Stephanie.
Well, do you think that it's right for these children to
We have made this town, we've made it this way for them. They might as well learn to cope with it.
Well, at least they don't have to wallow in it.
What happened in court today is just as much part of Maycomb as missionary teas.
Well, I suppose they probably didn't understand much anyway. Too bad you had to see your daddy get beat.
When I get grown, I'm gonna be a clown.
What, Dill?
That's right, a clown. I've realized there's nothing good I can do about people, so I'm just gonna laugh my head off.
I think you've got it backwards, Dill. Clowns are sad. It's folks that laugh at them.
Well, I'm gonna be a new kind of clown. I'm gonna stand in the middle of the ring and laugh in their faces.
Don't you pay attention to what she says about Atticus.
What do you mean?
I simply would like you to know that there are some men in this world who were born to do our unpleasant jobs for us. Your father's one of them.
Oh, well.
Don't you oh well me, Jim. You're just not old enough to understand what I've said. And you want to know who feels this way? There are a handful of people in this town who feel that fair play isn't marked for white only.
I thought Maycomb folks were the best folks in the world.
We are the safest folks in town, and we're so rarely called upon to be Christians. But when we are, we've got men like your father to go for us.
But who did one thing to help Tom Robinson?
His friends did one thing. People like us. We exist too. People like Judge Taylor. People like Heck Tate. When you gonna start using your head, Jim? Didn't it strike you funny that Judge Taylor naming Atticus to defend Tom was no accident? That Judge Taylor had his reasons.
That's right, Jim. Usually the court appoints a new lawyer, one who's just starting.
You're beginning to realize it, Scout. A little more to it than you thought. Whether Maycomb knows it or not, we are paying your father the highest tribute we can pay a man. We trust him to do right.
Then why'd he get beat?
Miss Stephanie, she talks nonsense. Maybe we didn't get an acquittal, but we got something. As I was waiting in court today, I waited and I thought, Atticus Finch won't win. He can't win. But
He is the only man in these parts who can hold a jury out for as long as he did in a case like this. And I thought to myself, maybe we're taking a little step along the way. Now I'm gonna go in my house and I'm gonna make me a cake, and I would be pleased if y'all would come over later and have some of that cake.
Yes, Miss Maudie.
Thank you.
Mr. Dill?
Yes, I'll come.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go visit my Aunt Rachel. They trust him to do right. I'll be back, and then we'll all have cake.
Tom Robinson was taken to Enfield Prison Farm, about 70 miles away. Atticus thought he had a good chance for a new trial. Tom just couldn't hold out for hope anymore. His old employer gave Helen a job so she could support the children, but she had to pass the Ewell place every day, and they shouted and chucked things at her. She was terrified. Till Hecate went out there and made them desist. When Ewell left the courtroom that day, he thought he would leave the town hero. Turns out, nobody really believed him. All Bob Ewell got for his pain was, "Okay, so we've convicted the Negro. Now get on back to your dump." Bob Ewell's threats continued to get worse, but Atticus just kept his business going about Tom's appeal, until suddenly, death was among us. First, it was Mrs. DuBose. When Jim was reading to her, he could see she was in trouble. He called for his father, but it was too late. Her pain was over.
So, that's why I had to read to her?
Well, they gave her morphine for the pain and she'd become addicted. She wanted to be clean of it before she died. Your reading to her helped keep her mind on other things.
I never knew.
Well, we saw things quite differently, but I was very glad that she asked you to read to her, because I wanted you to see what true...
Hello, bitch!
I wanted you to see what true courage looks like.
Got some good news, Finch.
Courage isn't a man with a knife in his hand, Jim. Courage is when you are licked before you begin, but you begin anyway. You rarely win, but sometimes you do. Miss DuBose won, all 98 pounds of her. She died as clean as the mountain air.
Well, don't you want to hear it, Finch?
Atticus,
What?
Tom is dead.
They shot Tom?
Shot that nigga.
They said he was running. They took off during an exercise period and started climbing the fence right in front of him.
Didn't anybody warn him? Didn't anybody do anything before they shot him?
They fired some warning shots, but they didn't shoot at him until he was almost over the fence.
How could they shoot Tom?
They put 17 bullet holes in him.
Oh my God. Oh.
Cal, take the children inside.
What? Why
17?
Why didn't he wait for the appeal?
We told him that we had a chance, but he was tired of waiting for the white man's chances.
Ain't it like a nigga to cut and run?
Come on, Scott, let's go.
Anything else you want to say, Mr. Ewell?
Yeah. That's one down. 2 to go. Now, who's gonna be next?
I think I'd keep a shotgun loaded with a double lot.
I never thought that he would come after me, and if he did, I'd take care of it.
Well, I'm sure you would, Mr. Finch.
Oh, boy. Well, thank you very much, Heck.
Yes, sir. Take care of yourself.
Atticus, I'm worried about you. I think you should get a gun.
I've told you twice now to stay in the house, and I've heard enough about guns.
I had a talk with Atticus. He insisted things would settle down after a fashion. And they did. The Tkam ladies arranged a pageant at the school auditorium. Taffy pulls, apple bobbing, and children costumed to represent the county's agricultural products. A girl butterbean, a cow, a peanut. And when I saw Jem leaving with Scout, she was representing pork, with Jem holding on to her hog. The clouds were getting heavy before they left. Looked like it might be storming before they got home. The Tkam pageant ended with everybody singing, "Macomb County, we will I be true to thee." The children got out of their paper costumes to go home. And Scout and Jem started their longest journey together. The moon had been in and out of those rain clouds all night, but when they started home, it was black, dark, and there was a stillness that comes before a thunderstorm. Somebody just walked over my grave.
Reckon we ought to sing, Jim?
No, keep real quiet.
Here, Jim!
Scout, run!
I tripped! Jim, help me!
Where'd you go?
I can't see! I don't know where!
Where are you, Scout?
Jim, I don't know!
Scout, get out of here! Run! Run!
What's happening? My God! Jim! Jim! Cal! Call the doctor! Call Dr. Reynolds! Scout! Scout! Scout!
I'm over here! I'm okay. The man's gone. But someone hurt Jim. Atticus, is Jim dead?
He's unconscious. I think his arm is broken.
Is Scout okay?
Yes, yes. Call Heck Tate. Tell him somebody's after my children.
Okay, I called Lula May and she called Dr. Reynolds.
Cal, is Jim dead?
He's just passed out from all of the pain. I'll call.
After 10 forevers, Dr. Reynolds finally finished with Jim. Said it looked like somebody had tried to wring his arm off. Said it'd be a little bit before he could play football again. Told Scout Jim positively was not dead.
Atticus.
Heck. What do you know? I can't imagine anybody who would do something like this.
Bob Yule is lying over yonder with a knife stuck up under his ribs. He's dead, sir.
Dead? Are you sure?
Good and dead.
But
The mean as hell, low-down skunk with enough liquor in him to make him brave enough to kill children.
I thought he got it out of him when he spat on me, or at least he come after me.
You know better than that. Scout, come here, Mama. You said he grabbed your arm, and then he pushed you. Then what happened?
Someone came out to help. Someone
Who?
Well, there he is, Mr. Tate. He'll tell you his name.
Oh.
Hey, Bill.
His right name is Mr. Arthur. Boo is just a nickname. Mr. Arthur, this is Jean Louise. You may want to go inside and sit with Jem a bit.
Would you like to come in, Mr. Bill?
All right, so Heck, what do we do now? I mean, obviously he's a minor. He's a minor, so we'd have to take it to county court.
Take what?
It was a plain case of self-defense.
Mr. Finch, do you think Jim killed Bob Ewell?
Well, if not him, who?
Mr. Finch, Jim didn't do it.
Well, they were struggling in the dark for Ewell's knife.
I'll tell you what happened, sir. Bob Ewell killed himself. He fell on his knife.
Well, that's very kind of you, Heck. I know you're doing it out of the goodness of your heart, but I will not have Jem growing up with whispers about him. I will not have to hush.
Hush up what? Jim did not do it.
Then who?
Mr. Finch, I'm telling you, Bob Ewell fell on his knife.
Heck, I will not tell my children something they know not to be true. I will lose them. I will not live one truth in town and another one at home.
Mr. Finch, I hate to fight you when you're like this. You've been under a strain no man should be under. But I'm telling you, Bob Ewell fell on his knife. It was not Jim.
So then it was...
Get that out of your mind, sir. I told you what happened.
But if this wasn't...
This is my decision, and it is my responsibility, and you don't have much say in it.
What are you saying, Heck?
I'm saying there's a black man dead for no reason, and the white man responsible for it is dead too. So let the dead bury the dead this time, Mr. Finch.
But what about...
I never heard tell. It's against the law for a man to prevent a crime from being committed, which is exactly what Boo Radley did. Now, you might say it's my duty to go all around town and tell everyone about what happened here tonight and not hush it up. Know what had happened then? All the ladies in Maycomb, including my wife, would be at that man's door with angel food cakes. Bringing that man with his shy ways into the limelight, that's a sin. I may not be much, Mr. Finch, but I am the sheriff of Maycomb County, and Bob Ewell fell on his knife. Good night, sir.
Scout?
Yes?
Bob Ewell fell on his knife. Can you possibly believe that?
But, sir, it looks to me what Heck said about... Yes?
Will you take me home?
Bend your arm like that. Yeah, that's right, sir.
Arthur, thank you for my children.
The moon had come out and the storm had passed over. And I couldn't help but hoping Miss Stephanie was watching from her upstairs window, watching Mr. Arthur Radley escorting Miss Jean Louise like any gentleman would. None of us ever saw him again. But I saw something else. Neighbors bring food with death and flowers with sickness. And Boo was our neighbor. He gave 2 children a pair of slicked up good luck pennies, a stick of chewing gum, and their lives. Miss Jean Louise.
I didn't have to stand in Boo Radley's shoes to know him. Just standing on his porch was enough.
You feel all right, girl?
I feel old. Jem and I still have to get grown, but there isn't much left we have to learn, except possibly algebra.
I reckon you'll handle it.
Atticus, is Jem awake yet?
Sleeping peacefully. He'll be awake in the morning.
Sir, what Heck said about dragging Boo into the limelight, Heck was right.
How do you mean?
I mean, it'd be like sort of like shooting a mockingbird, wouldn't it?
Let's go see Jem.
All those ideas we had about Boo Radley, but Atticus, he's real nice.
Most people are Scout when you finally see him.
Don't forget the tech crew. Yeah, hey, we have power back here. Nice job, guys. That's it. Good job. Fantastic. Thanks, everybody, for coming.